Hi guys, welcome back to Chinatown. For those of you who are new to my channel, I use this channel as a platform to argue the systematic and institutionalized social injustices that are plagued upon the Black community through structural racism, past and present. Today's topic is domestic violence within the Black community. We were created to love. Throughout our lives, we have an intense desire to be loved and nurtured. The need to be loved is considered one of our most basic and fundamental needs. The desire to be held and touched is so significant to our well-being. Findings show that babies who are deprived contact comfort, particularly during the first 6 months, can grow up to be psychologically damaged. Even as adults, our self-esteem and self-worth is often dependent solely on this. Having a relationship for many of us is one of our top goals, on par with the goal of leading a happy and fulfilling life. As little girls, we have the fairy tale love story in mind always, and that's what we grow up believing love really should look like. We dream of a prince riding up on a white horse and us riding off together into the sunset. No matter what difficulties may come our way, we believe that love will hold us together, that nothing can tear us apart because we were taught to believe that love is enough. Intimate partner violence does not discriminate. It affects all people, regardless of age, race, economic status, sexual orientation, or gender identity. In fact, an average of 24 people per minute are victims of rape, physical violence, or stalking by an intimate partner in the United States, equating to more than 12 million people per year. This statistic does not cover the impact of other types of abuse, such as emotional abuse or financial abuse, meaning that even more people are affected by intimate partner violence than studies reveal. While we know that intimate partner violence affects people from all walks of life, we also know that it can more deeply affect individuals from certain communities or backgrounds. Abuse in the Black community. Due to systemic racism, which affects our social structures as well as our policies, both Black women and Black men experience domestic violence at higher rates than that of other communities. In fact, 45.1% of Black women experienced physical violence, sexual violence, or stalking from their intimate partner, while 40.1% of Black men experienced those abuses. On average, 1 in 3 women experience domestic violence, 33.3%, and 1 in 4 men experience domestic violence, showing that African Americans are disproportionately affected by this issue. It is exhausting being a woman, but it is especially exhausting being a Black woman. According to the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence, more than half of a Black adult female homicides are related to intimate partner violence. What's sad is that a lot of these cases aren't even taken seriously because it's just another Black girl. I am proof that domestic abuse can happen to anyone. I have always prided myself on being a confident, beautiful, independent, strong Black woman. And yet my previous relationship was by far one of the most abusive relationships I've ever been in my entire life. The abuse was so frequent, I don't even remember the first incident. But I remember thinking to myself in that moment that if I stay, it won't be the last. Because I knew that if he hit me once, he would hit me again. Domestic violence doesn't always look the same because every relationship is different. Abusive relationships don't start out abusive. Abusers don't reach over and give you a black eye on the first date. They are often very passionate, attentive, affectionate, loving, charming, and you absolutely adore them. In this stage, you are falling in love. Completely head over heels. You think you have found your person. You lock in, cut off all your other prospects, and you are all about my man, my man, my man. Before you have even taken the time to fully get to know this man, which is often less than a year, you have already created to you in your mind who he is, and he is perfect. Sent straight from God, he is everything that you could ever want. Even if you see the red flags, you ignore them because he is just so amazing. Understand that when the devil comes into your life, he comes to kill, steal, and destroy. The devil tempts you with your desires. He knows exactly what you are looking for, and he is the master of deception. But one thing about it, he will always reveal himself because he is prideful and wants recognition and credit for his works. So when you see the red flags, it won't be literal red flags or banners or fireworks, but something that causes your eyebrows to go up, or you to say, to yourself. Trying to decipher in seconds what you just heard or witnessed, and then you chuck it up to nothing more. In that moment, the moment your eyebrows go up, you need to stop and question everything. Pay attention to everything. And you need to be ready and willing to walk away when it does not make sense to you, because confusion is not of God. You need to trust yourself, your instincts, and your God-given intuition. Emotional abuse often starts before physical abuse, and it can be very subtle. You may not even recognize it, so it could completely go over your head. If your partner, the person who you are in love with, who is supposed to love you and support you and be there for you and build you, starts to say something belittling or demeaning to you, or anything that makes you feel any type of way, understand that this is emotional abuse. And if you communicate to them how you feel, hey, you did this, or you said this, and it made me feel this kind of way, and they continue to do this, understand they simply do not care. Please know that they are very aware of what they said and or did because they did it. So do not make excuses for them. Again, if you express your feelings to them and they don't take it serious, they simply do not care. I don't care how small or insignificant you think that it is. If it makes you feel any type of way, it matters. Understand that your partner should not even want to play with you in a hurtful way. Oh, I'm just playing. No, there's much truth said in jest. So just don't let anyone play with you. And don't play with yourself thinking that you can deal with it. Remember, this is just the beginning, and you are teaching them how you want to be treated. You are teaching them what you will and will not allow. Remember, this is just the beginning, and you are teaching that person that it is okay to emotionally abuse you. What you accept is what will continue, and it will get worse. Emotional abuse can gradually affect your self-esteem and your sense of self-worth over time. Whatever it is that they are saying to you, you will start to believe it. And eventually you will begin to say this to yourself. So this negative thought replays over in your mind again and again, going straight into your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind does not know the difference between a lie and the truth, so you start to believe it. Think about a dream. When you are sleeping in your dream state, you are entering your subconscious mind, and a monster comes to chase you and follow you. You literally try to run because you are afraid, thinking that the monster is real. You wake up, heart racing, like, oh my God, glad I got away. Your subconscious mind does not know the truth from a lie. So when you have someone constantly feeding you negative, you believe it. So it is not okay. Emotional abuse is so damaging, it does not even have to take place over a span of time. One time, one word that a person says to you can affect your self-esteem forever. Your tongue is very powerful. You can speak life or death in your words. So you need to be very careful of what you say, and even more careful of what you take in. Before you even get to the point of completely losing yourself, unrecognizable to the person that you used to be, the first time someone says something hurtful to you and you express yourself and they continue to do it, they simply do not care. If you are starting to feel worthless, withdrawn, it is probably because you are starting to blame yourself from all of the emotional abuse you've had to deal with. At this point, it is really critical that you know that you can walk away. You're not chained to anyone physically, but mentally you are. If it doesn't occur to you that you can simply walk away, it doesn't sound easy because it's not, but you can. And the sooner you walk away is the sooner you can begin to heal. Build yourself up and speak life into yourself. I don't care if you have to go to Walmart and buy a full-length mirror. Stand in it and speak to yourself. Every positive affirmation that you can think about, you say, I am that. I am that. Even if you don't believe it when you speak it, you speak that into yourself, because over time it will become your subconscious and you will really feel that way. You will really think that of yourself. Every single insecurity that you have about yourself, tell yourself that you love it. Again and again. Oh, I love my nose. It's so pretty. Oh, I love my eyes. You know, I have really good eyebrows. Over time, your subconscious mind will believe this. I build myself up so much, baby. You cannot tell me I'm not her. Even when someone's trying to knock me down, I have built myself so much that it doesn't even touch me. So lie to yourself if you have to build yourself up again. And please understand that you cannot do this and stay, because while you're building yourself up and someone is tearing you down, it will not work. The first step is to recognize what is happening. The second step is to leave. Most victims of abuse don't even want to recognize that they're victims. They will say to themselves, oh, we go through this all the time. Me and my man, this just what we do. This ain't none of y'all business, da-da-da. But it is. Most women that you speak to who are victims of abuse don't consider themselves to be abused or victims, because this is their man and this is just what they do. Oh, they're having another fight. They'll be made up by the end of the day. No, it's not normal. I don't care if you've grown up with abuse within your household or if this is just something y'all do on a regular basis. It's not normal. It's not healthy. And especially if you have children involved, it needs to cease. You're not just affecting yourself. You're affecting your partner, your children, and generations to come. You are affecting communities. The Black community is being affected by what's happening in your household. So for you to say it's not everybody, it is everybody's business when half the percent of Black females are being killed by domestic violence. More than half of Black adult homicides are due to domestic violence. Then it becomes our business. Because when you hurt one Black woman, you are destroying generations. One Black woman is so strong and so powerful that she can hold entire families on her shoulder. And I don't know if y'all had a big mama in y'all family, but I'm not talking about just the family in her household. I'm talking about uncles, cousins, aunties, down to the great-great-grandchildren. One woman. When you have more than half of the Black adult female homicides being related to intimate partner violence, That needs to be everybody's business. The reason that domestic violence is so prominent is because it's so silent. So many women, men are going through domestic violence and you're not hearing about it. How can you focus on what's going on in the Black community if everybody is in survival mode? You're at home just worrying about surviving. How can we move forward as a culture, as a people, if most of our women and men are sitting at home in survival mode, not knowing if they're going to make it from day to day? When you're at home and your total focus is on surviving, you're not worried about education, you're not worried about what laws are being passed, you're thinking about your surviving from next moment. Intimate partner violence should not be that prevalent. We've got to get a hold on this so that we can grow together. So stop the narrative that it's not everybody's business, because it needs to be our business. So prominent is because it's so silent. No one wants to talk about it. Women are getting abused at home, going to work, putting on makeup, acting like everything is fine, lying about it. You ask them what happened. Oh, I bumped into a countertop, or whatever the lie is. It needs to stop. You need to talk to someone if you're getting abused. You don't have to come on the internet and put all your business out there, but you need to have a friend or a family member that you can go and talk to. Because when you talk to someone about it, it becomes real. You can hear it, what you're going through, and you won't listen to yourself and say, dang, I'm crazy. What am I doing? You need to talk to someone about it. If you're suffering in silence from abuse behind closed doors, let's just say hypothetically it leads to your death. Who is going to know if you haven't told anyone about it? Don't be afraid to tell people, because they're going to judge you. People are going to judge you regardless. No matter what you think, people are judging you. So you need to get the help that you need by the people that you love and trust. So you have to open up to tell someone. I remember talking to my niece a couple of years ago, and this was back before I even had a real relationship. Like, before I was even in my real relationship. So I know she had to be in like middle school. And she was telling me about some things she was going through. And I said, oh my God, you're a victim. She said, girl, I ain't no victim. What you talking about? I said, this is domestic violence. And she wasn't even familiar with the term. Didn't know what it was, but she was going through it every day. So many domestic violence victims don't consider themselves to be victims. The first step is to recognize. There is no need for you to be ashamed, because half the people that you're trying to hide it from are going through way worse things behind closed doors, and they don't want to talk about it either. When you step up and be the first one, guess what? Other women will step up too and say, you know what? I've went through that too. We need more women to step up, more men to step up and say, you know what? I've been through that too. And what do we need to do about it as a community so that we can heal it, stop it, and start to grow and progress? You cannot grow and progress when you are in survival mode day to day. Don't ever be willing to laugh at another person's pain, because the thing that you judge someone or you laugh at about someone will be the very thing that God turns around and places you in. The number one reason why most women stay, and I'm just going to say women because I know that it's men too, but for this video I'm going to say women. The number one reason why women stay in abusive relationships is because of love. You love that person so much. You have hope that they'll change. You have hope that things will get better, and you stay. And the more that you stay, you think that you will have proved your love. But to a person who's not looking for real love, or who's only looking to abuse you, it doesn't matter how much you love them. And we all know love is so powerful, it can make you completely act out of character. Loving a person is not more important than loving a person correctly. Loving someone and loving someone correctly is not the same thing. Someone can tell you that they love you and kill you. It happens every day. Someone can say that they love themselves and do crack, but do you respect me? Do you value me? Because when a person loves you, respects you, and values you, they will not want to physically, verbally, correctly. They will do anything. They will do nothing to physically harm you or verbally abuse you. When you really love someone, you will give them chance after chance after chance after chance after chance. When you have to give a person that many chances, you have to stop questioning if they love you and ask yourself, is this the way you want to be loved? Is this the way you deserve to be loved? And if it's not, you have to love yourself enough to leave. Because you have to teach people how to treat you, and you have taught that person that it is okay for them to verbally abuse you, emotionally abuse you, physically abuse you, and whatever kind of abuse that they want to do to you. You need to leave for yourself. Not because I'm telling you to, but because you want to be treated better. Because you love yourself and you think you deserve that. When you ask some women why they stay, they will say, oh, because God, tells me to forgive, and God, and God, and God. When I read the Bible, it said that a man is supposed to love his wife as he loves the church. An abuser, after the abuse, they will say, but I love you. I'll do anything for you. I'll go to church with you. I'll believe in God with you. They are the most apologetic person. And to a person that has been abused and love this person, that's everything that they want to hear. But do they mean it? Have you even given them enough time to see if their actions align with their words? That's the biggest thing with narcissistic abuse. Most of the time, their actions don't align with their words. They will say they love you and treat you like they hate you. Pay attention to the actions. Your father loves you so much that he knows every strand of hair on your head. So when women give this excuse that, oh, I'm going to stay with him even though he cheat on me and beat on me and all these things to me, well, God wants me to forgive. God says that man is supposed to love you the way that Christ loves the church. That kind of love is so genuine and pure, we can't even perceive it to begin to understand how to correctly give it and receive it. But I know it starts with loving and forgiving that person. And when you love someone, your actions should show that. We have to ask ourselves, why is domestic violence so prevalent? And especially, why is it so prevalent in the Black community? My own personal theory is due to slavery. I believe most of the problems that African Americans face today, that is so much more difficult for African Americans than any other race, I believe that it can be directly and indirectly linked back to slavery. When you have your great-great-great-great-great-grandfather being abused, so much inhumanely abused, guess what? They're going to treat their children that way, their great-grandchildren that way. It's going to trickle down generations, okay? We're still whooping our kids' ass today. To the victims of abuse, the number one thing is to recognize it. And once you recognize it, gain the strength to leave. Leaving is the best option you have. I know you want to stay and fix it and you believe and you have hope. But if you find yourself forgiving again and again and again and again, at some point you have to leave. And I know that leaving is the most dangerous part in an abusive relationship. Leaving is the fatal point that can be life and death. Because even though this person abuses you, you're not allowed to leave them. So you need to strategize and leave safely, but you need to leave. Once you leave, give yourself time to heal, okay? Give yourself grace. For me, forgiving myself was the hardest part because I know that I love myself. But I allowed myself to stay because I loved him too. So be easy on yourself. Forgive yourself. Be kind to yourself. Love yourself. Refocus your energy on yourself, your children, your goals, and most importantly, God. Love should not be harmful. Love should not be painful. We are all humans and we all make mistakes. If you grew up with abuse within your household when you were a child, maybe you told yourself, I'm not going to be like that when I get older. But sometimes it's all you know. And you need to go get help because you can change. Go get help. Seek counseling. Go to therapy. Get a psych evaluation. Don't worry about insurance or the cost. God will provide. You need to make sure that you get the help that you need immediately. Don't wait for the next incident to occur. If you know you had a problem, if you've ever had a problem like this before, go get help now to save your life and the lives of other people so that you can learn to heal. Get into a church. Start taking God seriously. Ask God to forgive you and guide you and lead you. You are a leader in our community and we need you. We need healthy, strong, positive, uplifting black men to uplift and love black women correctly. When you tear down one black woman or one black man, understand that you are affecting the entire black community.